Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wayne's World of Science and Technology. Tonight, we're going to talk about Caolan. You're probably wondering what the hell I'm saying, but anyways, let me switch over to another tab. Okay, in here, we've got this young Ukrainian chap named, well, actually, he's Irish, but he lives in Ukraine, Caolan Robertson, who is saying, "Oh my God, we just realized that the Russians can't defend their territory because they're so big." Caolan, why don't you talk to a military analyst who actually has a bloody clue before you publish something like this and make yourself look like an idiot? My God, everybody knew that Russia was too big. Everybody who's been paying attention knows that Ukraine has specifically been targeting Russian air defense stations for the last 3.5 years. They've been stripping Russia's ability to defend its airspace. We all knew that. What took you so bloody long to realize this, Caolan? What's wrong with your head? Okay, you're a young guy. You ain't got the experience. I get that. But really, you should have talked to somebody who actually understands something about the situation or read something about it before you start commenting saying, "Oh my God, we just realized that Russia can't defend its airspace." I mean, everybody knows that Russia can't defend their airspace. It's too freaking big. They don't have enough air defense systems. The Russian airspace is so large that my personal guess is if you were to put every air defense system in the world in Russia, it still would not give adequate coverage. Think about that. You know, that's using current technology. Obviously, in 10 years, things might change, but there is not enough air defense in the world to cover the entirety of Russia. And Caolan thinks that people are all of a sudden waking up to the fact that there's holes in Russia's air defense. I mean, come on, man. You really, really, really need to learn something. You need to talk to some people who've actually got some knowledge about the situation. I know it's hard when you're young. You come and kind of jump out and get into all these things because you're young and you're excited and you've got all this energy. But it doesn't do you any damn good if what you're saying is absolute fucking crap. And basically, that's what he's saying. Everybody already knew this. And, it's what I call absolutely mind-blowing. I'm surprised that anybody who actually supports Ukraine is this badly disconnected from the situation. It really is amazing. People should bloody well know better. And I mean, at this point, even the general public should bloody well know better because we've been talking about this stuff. And okay, yes, I know if you pay attention to the newspapers are, and the TV shows and all that are about as useless as tits on a board. It just doesn't, they don't do a very good job. But there's some damn good sources out there, including official ones, that you can check with. And before posting this silly thing, he should have checked with that. You know, same with Jake. I mean, Jake is a nice guy. Jake has actually got some military experience. But guess what? He's surprised by this too, for some reason that I don't get. I really don't get it. Why don't people understand? Russia is a bloody big place. It's so big, it cannot defend itself. It's always been that way. Napoleon's problem was he tried to push to Moscow. If Napoleon had stopped after taking the first several hundred, first couple of low blasts, he could have held them. He tried to go to Moscow. Bad move. Anyway, let me just stop Jake here because he's starting to bother me. It's not that I dislike Jake, it's just that having the face on screen talking while I'm trying to talk is a little bit annoying. So yeah, I mean, really, everybody knows this. I mean, if you take a look at, let's see, map of Russia. Okay, well, got it anyways. You can see how big it is. That's a lot of space. Now, how do you cover that? You can't. I mean, realistically, there is no bloody way you can cover all of Russia with air defense. The MiG-31 fighter, which I did a video on earlier today, is basically designed as a emergency option, you could say. You see airplanes coming in from a direction you weren't expecting, and the MiG-31's fast enough to get there, hopefully. Because the Russians know that they can't defend themselves either. Look, Russia's military may be a shambolic mess, but they aren't stupid. They know how big they are. They know how much area their air defense can cover, and they know they can't cover it all. Everybody knows this, except for a bunch of dimwit YouTubers and a bunch of Russian simps. Everybody knows this. And let me put it this way. If you don't know it, you fucking well should know it. If you're interested in this war, you should already have this fact in your head. You shouldn't need to get to somebody else to find the information. Because it's there. It's being discussed in military forums. Yeah, I hang around military forums too. Among other things, hanging around MAGA forums and hanging around left-wing forums and hanging around Russian sympathizer forums. I hang around them all. I like getting a variety of viewpoints. But everybody knows that Russia is undefendable. It is completely undefendable. Now, does that matter? Well, no, it didn't matter until they started a freaking war by invading Crimea in 2014. At that point, the pressure went on. Which reminds me, I need to go over here and look up, because there is the Caolan Institute, which published something that everybody's been freaking out over, but they don't get understand. Now, what was it? Was it under the economic one or the other one? I can't remember now. Just a sec. What was the report named? I should bloody well remember, but it's been a really interesting day so far. Yeah. My youngest just turned 34. So had birthday cake. Right. It was on Russian orange production. Here it is. So tanks, 215% increase. That's after 3 years. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Let's go over here. Close that, because I don't want that. And Korea tank. Damn, I can't type. Production numbers. And okay, I need to change that to per year and make it South Korea. Okay. In 15 years, they produced 1,000 tanks. Let's see. It's not telling us how many they actually produce per year. That's annoying. Okay, let's go over to the one I can talk to you about. Armored vehicles. They went up to 500, from 585 to 1,409, 141% increase. It took them 3 years. There is a company I know that is currently producing around 480 armored vehicles per year in a country that is not at war, in a country that has less than a third of the population of Russia. And they say they can double their production in 2 months. And they can quadruple their production in a year. Okay? Artillery guns up 149%. Short-range air defense systems up 200%. Medium to long range up 100%. Lancet loitering up 475. Now, that's the one place they've actually gotten some real improvement. The point is that people are posting this and saying, oh my God, scary, look how much you're producing. But the context is that other people are producing a hell of a lot of stuff too. Other people aren't running a war economy and can ramp up. Russia's running a war economy and is, quite frankly, running out of room to ramp up. They don't have the capabilities. When I say they don't have the capabilities, oh yeah, Russia's one of the biggest military arms manufacturers on the planet. Sure. When they buy Western equipment to build their arms. They buy lathes from the West, they buy milling machines, they buy all sorts of high technology equipment that is used in making these things, or at least they did. They can't anymore. They have to buy Chinese, and Chinese stuff, while it's good, is not quite as good. So it's cutting into their capabilities to a certain extent. But instead, you look at it, oh, such huge numbers. They went up to 1,409 in armored vehicles. Well, it means nothing. 387 tanks per year. Again, it means nothing. Production from outside of Russia in countries that are not at war nearly matches theirs. And that's just in the NATO sphere. We're not talking about China. I don't know what Chinese tank production is a year, but I'm willing to bet it's more than 387. Don't know how good they are, because they've never been tried in combat, but my guess is they'd be at least as good as a T-72, so they definitely would work. Probably as good as a T-90. We just don't know yet. But anyway, these numbers, people post them, and they don't talk context. If you don't have the context, none of this makes any bloody sense. Same thing with Caolan. He's like, Russia has a massive weak spot for the first time. The map of Russia tells you Russia's had a massive weak spot the entire fucking time. Yeah, I got upset. Can you tell? I mean, I don't mind people making mistakes. But when they make mistakes that are so basic, it's like somebody comes up to you and says 2 + 2 = 5, and you're going, yeah. Basically, that's what Caolan did. He said 2 + 2 = up until now, he's been saying 2 + 2 = 5. He finally realized it equals 4. He's shocked. Oh boy. Anyway, that's enough for the rant today. Like, share, subscribe, and all that guff. You got something out of this. And have a nice day. Bye-bye, folks.